FREQ. Welcome back, guys. It's been a while. It's been like a month since our last episode, and we're happy to be back. I was sick, so that's why we had to take a little breaky. But we have a very special guest today. We have Bebe G.
Bebe G.
Hola.
G.
Introduce yourself, honey. This is my best fucking friend out here right now. Like, one of my best friends. But, you know, she just moved here from Boston recently, and she's fucking killing it. She makes music. She has a clothing brand, more than a clothing brand. She fucking dances. She does it all. She's the full package, and she's just an amazing soul. And I'm so excited for this episode.
Thank you.
It's gonna be
Thanks
so
for having
like
me.
you're gonna.
I'm excited.
So many people are gonna feel your energy through this podcast
Definitely.
too.
The first question I have for you is about kind of growing up, because you grew up in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that experience for you?
Well, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, but I come from like a super New York family, so it was very like a lot of New York pride. I'm half Dominican and then half Macedonian, like German blend. So just a lot of culture there. It's different. It's East Coast. It's hardcore. But I grew up in like outside the city. It was really low key. It was honestly like a white suburb, and I feel like we were one of the only mixed families that I knew for sure. Like I didn't know a lot of people that were not white. And then, you know, it was one of those towns that like maybe there's like 4 black kids in the local high school and stuff. And so I feel like eventually I wanted to get out, and that's why in middle school I just like asked my mom to go to school in the city, and I ultimately chose this private all-girls Catholic school, which was so crazy because I was like Buddhist at the time and just didn't believe in that shit, but I wanted a new experience, and I went there and it was so much more diverse and like just empowering. And so but Buffalo is amazing for what it is. It was really traumatic in many ways. I didn't go back for like a long time, or every time I went back it was super triggering. Just for many, many reasons I feel like a lot of people have with their hometown. But ultimately now it's like I feel like I'm healing from those times, and I'm appreciating it a lot more, and just having that pride and the Buffalo Bills and stuff, and now just having like Griselda gang coming out of Buffalo, and the people that are creative that are coming up, and you know it's people are nice up there, no doubt people are kind,
it's home.
and it is, it's definitely home. Kids are just mean, you know what I mean, like Buffalo's a good town, it's a great town, kids just suck. You know what I mean?
It's so crazy you're talking about this, because I saw this like little quick video the other day, and it was just it was like wicked sad. I was like, oh my god. But it was just showing this like girl, and like there's a TV, and it's just showing like the Victoria's Secret models and like just everything like our generation grew up seeing and like looking up to, and how it switched, and now like this younger generation gets to see like, you know, all different body types and like all different colors, and like, you know, having more like to look up to than we did, and making like what we grew up seeing like made a lot of people insecure and want to change themselves and want to be something that they're not. And now it's like, now we can like be ourselves, like we can set this next generation up to not have to like go through that, you know? I thought that was so beautiful.
I remember crying when I was young, because I'm a dancer too.
Yeah, talk about dancing, like, you know, when
Buffalo.
you started dancing. Well, you can finish what you're talking about.
No, it all goes hand in hand. Like, that's the thing. Dance was what kept me alive eventually. Like, I had a really traumatic experience freshman year with like basically it was sexual assault, and with this senior, I don't remember what he was, but I was a freshman and I was definitely underage and he was legal. And because of that, like I definitely, like once it came out, it became this rumor, like a lot of people turned against me, and like girls, because it's like guys, the girls want to be friends with the guys.
Yeah.
And when guys, we're not learning about what sexual assault means. We're all just starting to drink. It's my first time blacking the fuck out. Like I'm 14, and it's all looking back, it's like, oh, that was 100% that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Messed
mean?
up situation
Super
where you're the
fucked up.
victim,
Yes.
But I don't think society was there yet.
No,
you know?
no, not at all. And then definitely not the people our age. So like
Yeah.
so many people turned on me, talked shit about me, spread rumors. Like it was crazy. Like I bitched out a girl my freshman year that was telling people that I was pregnant, and because her brother said so at Canisius. And I said, who the fuck is your brother? Like, I don't know your fucking brother. And I bitched her out in the cafeteria, like, keep my fucking name out your mouth. You have no idea what I've been through and what the actual story is.
Yeah.
Like, and so because of that, definitely probably like around freshman year, after that happened, I became like, I wanted to die. Like I planned my whole, I knew exactly how I'd kill myself. And I thought about it like all over and over again. Like, and I was so young, like, and it just, Baby G,
Right,
Bebe
yeah,
G,
literally.
You
like,
don't know what is in your future.
and
Can't remove yourself from the moment.
right. And I remember the one time, like, I stayed home for like 3 weeks, like when it came out and a bunch of people found out about shit. My boyfriend broke up with me, whatever. And my mom like was like, what the fuck is the problem? Like, what happened? Like, cause she's like, I'm not letting you just stay home from school for 10 days in 3 weeks. Like, what's going on? And I broke down and I told her, thankfully, because I mean, she wanted to tell my dad. She was like, my dad's a lawyer, and she was like, I'm gonna we're gonna either that or your brother's beating him up in school.
Yeah,
or,
literally.
like,
My
and
mom
I was
would
just like,
fucking
I didn't
go
want
crazy.
that, and that's the fucked up
Yeah,
part about
yeah.
society is we're not there, and so I was like, no,
Yeah.
that will just be more traumatizing. Just get me. I'm just gonna graduate and get the fuck out of here. Like, so because of that though, I danced. I was a dancer. Like, I was that kid that like every day after school for at least 3 hours. And by the end of high school, I was probably dancing like 21, 24 hours a week. School-wise, like during that, I started in the business school, and it was hard to get into, and I was really proud of myself because I know people that didn't get into it. And because of what was going on, like I literally jumped from like a 3.5 my first semester to like a 1.0.
Wow.
Like literally, like it was like a 1.5 one
So
semester.
huge drop off.
Huge drop. And huge. And I had this not therapist, but my guidance counselor was so nice. I can't remember her name, but I love her. Shout out. But she couldn't really help me do anything because BU is so strict that like you need a C+ up for like all your classes in Questrom. And if you fail it twice and you get lower than a C+, like they kick you out. So I failed, which is ironically finance twice. And they kicked me out my sophomore year first semester. So right before Christmas break, they gave me the notification like, you're not coming back to Questrom. Yes, next year, pick a different major.
Wow.
So I had to be like, well, fuck you. Like, what the fuck? And I was so upset. I remember that day so vividly, sobbing in my friend's arms. Fuck them. But I chose international relations. And just because I was like, well, I might as well just get some worldly perspective, like, and learn about the world. And I'm really passionate about social justice. I've always been a justice junkie and like empowerment and all these things. And then it was so easy from there, which is so crazy. My classes, I did really well. All my classes were just so easy.
It was just
Then I went and I studied in Cuba for 6 months.
Was that through school?
Yeah, so, well, actually, again, always just doing my own thing. I left and I took a semester off. And I went through a different program, and I just found this program, like, studying Cuba, literally. And I signed up through, like, Oswego or something. I took a leave of absence from Boston University, signed up with them. It was, like, half the price of tuition. So my parents were, like, lit. Like,
Okay.
you want to go live in Cuba? Sure. Like, we save half of this fucking money.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I was the only one in the program. So, like, I got lucky. Like, nobody else signed up for the program. And because I did, they were like, well, do you want to go? I'm like, fuck yeah. So I had my own apartment, my own little place. The family next door, they'd make me breakfast and dinner. And like,
Jeez.
I lived
Good
in like the main, like I lived in Vedado of Havana, which is like there's locals everywhere. I lived in there was no
It
Americans
wasn't like
living
a
anywhere.
tourist place.
Not at all. And there was other programs, probably one other or two other American programs with American kids, and it was like 16 of them all living in the same house. Like, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And I didn't make any American friends. I have no American contacts from me being down in Cuba. I took some trips with them. Like, they would be like, oh, you can come with our group to go. I went to like this one like town with them, but and it was fun, but I never even really connected. Like, I fell in love. I met my first week there. I met this guy, Pepin, also shout out, one of my the love of my life, you know what I mean? We met just because I was eating at his parent in the front cafeteria, like cafe in his house, and he came home and we had a moment. I swear to God, love at first sight. Like, my knees, like, I went blurry. I couldn't see nobody around him. Like, and then I turned around and was like, oh my God. And I was so nervous. And he asked me to go to the park with his dog that day. We went out that night, and then the rest is literally history. So then I just started hanging out with like the locals.
Right, you were in
the
that
locals.
culture.
Those are my friends. Like, I'd see the American kids out, and I was walking around with my Cuban friends, like, oh, what's up? Like, but never going to get drinks with them. Like, we was just bumping music, bringing the speaker to the park, and that's ultimately why I learned Spanish so fast, because I went down knowing Spanish, but they talk so fucking fast, and they use a lot of street slang. And so it's funny because I have Dominican Spanish, how I learned it, but then it's mixed with Cuban. So people are like, where are you from when I speak Spanish? Because it's just a blend, but that changed my fucking life, because Cuba is just so important to me and what they are going through. And I had only learned America's side, and I remember breaking down at the Bay of Pigs memorial, because they had their side, and it was that Americans fucking attacked, and all these people died. They attacked a grocery store in Havana. Like, somebody was dying and wrote like Fidel, like La Patria, like in his blood, like in his, like, that's the patriarch, because the whole thing was that it was during the Cold War, during the Cold War, like, Cuba was siding with Russia and the communists, and they wanted to be communists. And America was obviously capitalist, and America had their hands in their sugarcane business. They ran the sugarcane business in Cuba, but when Fidel took over, he started the revolution. The Cuban Revolution was basically like, fuck that. Like, they're not going to own all of our stuff. Obviously, communism and their extreme communism, it didn't work. And it's like, it's just everything, I always say, everything that is amazing about the United States is what's wrong with Cuba, and everything that's wrong with the United States is what's amazing about Cuba. Like, their culture, the community, the love thy neighbor, the love that they have
and
for
like
each other, and humanity.
Grateful for, like,
everything.
you know, just every little thing.
Everything.
Like, here, like, people are just so ungrateful when they have, like, so much shit. And, like, I feel like people in other countries, you know, like, that barely can put food on the table, like, they're just grateful to be alive and have, like, amazing people around them, and just, like, appreciating the little things.
Yeah, Pepin used to always say this, because I was depressed down there. So, I mean, if I'm going to be, I don't know if I should be completely, like, open. Is this, like,
whatever you're
uncut?
comfortable with.
Yeah.
Well, so,
I mean, we could edit.
Right. So I had this. So basically, it got really intense, and I got depressed down there too. I got sick, and it was just like stress, and my body was just rejecting shit. So I was like, okay, like, I'll be completely honest. So I got pregnant we can whatever.
Yeah,
but I got
whatever
pregnant, and I was super sick. I had this like hormone sickness. Basically, the doctor said, like, my body's just rejecting these new hormones, and I got super sick. So I was sick every fucking day. Like, Pepin was a nurse. He's a cancer nurse. God bless his God bless his soul. And he used to inject me with, like, every day in my butt, every 8 hours, he injected me with this medicine to help me with the nausea, and, like, so I was in and out the hospital, and so that I was really depressed. But he would always say, like, sonríe a la vida, which is like, just smile and laugh at life, like, just smile at life. Like, he'd wake me up out of bed saying, like, just smile at life. Like, Cubans, we just smile through our problems, and that's was really impacted me. And his family, they took me in. His parents, like, during that, like, his dad used to take me to appointments every day at lunch when Pepin was working. Like, I went back to the house. His dad made me lunch.
Yeah.
We'd eat meals together. I would stay there when Pepin was working. Like, I didn't like the place that I was staying at. Like, I didn't connect with the family. They were actually like very, like Pepin would say, like they're the capitalist type of people in Cuba. We're the communists, like we are the socialist ones. So because of that, I just stayed with them and they took me in, and that taught me so much about gratitude and what other people are going through. And I was literally, it was the slums. Like it's cement. Friends of mine have cement walls, and that's it. Dirt floor type thing vibes. Like, you know, I remember. Oh, and I was there for the hurricane. I was there for Hurricane Maria, I think it was, or Irma. I think Irma, or it was the one that was.
Sounds familiar.
It was 2018 or something. I think it was 2017 September. It was like 2 weeks I was in there, and I spent the 3 days of the hurricane with Pepin after I had just met him. But
what was the aftermath of that?
Crazy, like the streets we went out. I have pictures. The streets filled, like with water, flooded with water, because the malecon, which is like the water, basically the pier or whatever, it overflows, and it's always when it's rough waters, it splashes over. Like you go down, sometimes you could be getting splashed on the street.
Was stuff like more like floor level? Like did they have like high buildings?
Not like that, and the ones near the people's houses were filled. Like it got hit hard, and then the other parts of the country, Havana, had actually like got lucky and it skipped over, so it wasn't as bad a damage. But other places in Cuba got really fucking hit hard, and I remember like. Just being there for that, there was no chicken, I remember, for a long time. Like, there was no eggs. Yeah. So, and that's a main thing, but literally all the chickens died. So there was no eggs to eat for a long time, and toilet paper was hard to get, and there's always long lines, and it's bureaucracy.
The whole supply chain gets thrown off.
Oh my God, it was crazy. And so I just witnessed all of these things that I'd never experienced in my life, and just taught me so much about humanity. Like, but there I was having the best time by just because people, and just people, and they loved me. Like they loved me down there. That was like the American girl that just like was always with the Cubans, like, you know, and it was mad fun. So I'm grateful, and that's an ultimate goal of mine is like literally to get my friends out of Cuba, because hopefully the government don't hear this, but we broke up because couldn't get like him over here. It wasn't, you can't just fly. He can't just leave. He's been trapped there. He's never left the country. It's called like isolación. Like they're isolated. They're an isolated island. Yeah. And then they don't be giving out green cards. You have to now go to another country to even have an interview. And so you have to have money, or you have to have people from other countries, family from other countries, sending you money to do it. And then even then it's a long ass process. So it was just so hard. We broke up, and it was so understandable. That's my fucking family though. And like, but because of that, I was talking to him the other day. He said it's just wild down there right now, and people are hungry, and there's nothing's open. They're fucking putting a lot of people in jail because of COVID. It's wild. And so I was just so sad to watch him tell me that, and he was just like, yeah, bro, I'm depressed. Like, and he's not that guy. That guy. He was the one that was sonría la vida. Yeah. So I was like, oh my God. I was just like, first thing when I get money, that's what I'm fucking doing. Like, you know, my parents are well off, and I'm really proud of them because I watched them go ground up. You know, I did. And they're dope as shit. And they taught me to do what I'm doing so I can help my peoples that don't have those opportunities. And it is like getting my friends and family like out of there in Cuba. And so that was really amazing. And I remember coming back to the States and having culture shock coming back, because I was like, I fucking hate this place. Everyone's so fucking superficial. Like, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. Like, you guys are so...
I worried about the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But actually, we just hit our timer time. Okay. I wanted to ask you about kind of like, we're talking about this place in your life, right? Where it's like, you're back from Cuba, college is over.
Oh, yeah.
How did you know it was time to come to Los Angeles? And what was kind of the thought process there?
Well, I wanted to go to Los Angeles right out of school. And this is, I feel like, this is where a good segue into like bodega. So right before I went to Cuba, the summer before I went to Cuba was the most fucking fun summer in Boston. I started working for bodega as a sales associate. Shout out Michaela Thurkill. I met her at Marathon Monday party, and like it was just like locked. Like we just, you know, soulmate shit. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, I work for this dope brand, Bodega. Like you should come in." I didn't even know who the fuck they were. And you should come in. We're a sneaker store. It's really cool. It's a hidden like vibe, and like come in tomorrow, bring your resume. And within 2 weeks, I was like hired, and it was dope. Like I was like, "Oh my God, this is me." In a store. Yeah. Like, and I didn't know Boston had that. Like, I was a hip hop dancer. I was dancing on a hip hop team, and you know, I was still training, and I just be writing and rapping and whatever, and style wise, like I'm always in the street, like you know. But then I went to Bodega, and that shit changed my life, just trajectory wise, by seeing and being around people that made it their living. And I never had that opportunity. Like my parents were like, I'm not paying for art school. You can go for business or doctor or whatever, because again, traditional values, Dominican values, whatever the fuck it is. But I saw people, like I was meeting cool ass people. Like Alila May came in that summer and was like kicking it with us. I had no idea who she was. I love her. Yeah. But seeing her blow, I was like, oh wow. Like, and then it's like, I was confused sexually. So I loved being around that environment because it made me tap into my masculine side and be proud of my masculine side and not give a fuck. Because all of a sudden, it's like, I'm flyer than all these dudes. Like, and like, y'all are asking me for drops. And like, it's just funny. So then from there, I moved up. After I graduated, they promoted me to publishing. And so I was a publisher and like doing editorials and publishing the products and doing a lot of copywriting. And then that's where Her by Bodega came in, and me and my other coworkers planned this event, Her by Bodega, which was a panel that was focused on women in contemporary fashion, because Bodega's women's section was so small. And like, that's why I just be buying the men's clothes. And if, you know, there's no sizes for the women. And so we had this talk, and I moderated it, and it just jump-started like the rest of my life for my purpose, and just like giving women a voice by having my own voice and demanding that it be heard, or not even giving a fuck if it's heard, because someone will hear it, you know? And so from there is when we started Her Muse, me and my partner Sarah, and we started throwing events, having like, you know, Red Bull was partnering with us on mad shit, sponsoring us. Our first event
mad sponsors.
Oh yeah, by Reebok.
Had a wicked successful first event, which is not fucking easy, especially in Boston. Like, and you guys killed it. Like, every event you threw was just so different. Like,
and that was the purpose.
It was so like strategically planned. Like, as in like, you know, who you had part of it. You know, you had all these dope ass female creatives in Boston being part of these events and giving them a platform, and like that's inspiring, like them too, even just being part of it, you know?
Collaboration,
just like everybody that went to those events like loved them, like including me, and that's where me and G met at one of her events where my girl Gopi was DJing. Shout out to Gopi. DJ Gopes. But she actually like started DJing because of me, and then like I'm seeing her DJ this dope ass fucking event, like getting all these dope opportunities, and it's so good. Like, it feels so good to see that and like see how you can like inspire people, and like just giving them a platform that isn't like anywhere in Boston. Like, it's hard to throw events in Boston, so like the way you guys did that was just different. Everybody was paying attention to what you guys were doing.
Yeah. I mean, it was because we had these events, we realized that people were throwing events, but it was just, I don't like to just like party. I can go out, I don't like to just go to like parties. Like, first of all, the music has to be on point. So if it's not on point, I don't like it, because I be in my own world just dancing anyway. So if the music's good, I'll go. But like, social wise and networking wise, I just feel like we felt that there's so much more that we can do and have at these events. These can low-key be networking hours for people and opportunities to get paid and do the DJ thing. So we wanted to create a different type of nightlife that brings you more and fulfills you in more of a way that, you know, you go home with
Customize
shit.
it.
You go home with shit. You get a free t-shirt. You get free fucking shoes from Reebok.
Yeah.
And then you also meet some dope ass artists. Like Nicole, our first event, shout out. We had Nicole McLaughlin. I think it's McLaughlin. I don't know how to pronounce
McLaughlin,
like
probably.
the Irish. But she is blown up since. Like she left Reebok after our event. She went to New York. Now she's fucking. You know her, right?
I'm pretty sure.
She's the one. She
I'm
does
pretty
all of
sure.
these makeshift.
No, yeah. I follow her.
Yeah,
She makes crazy
bras
shit.
out of
Yeah.
fucking
Cell phones.
and
Like,
she's just so creative.
Yeah.
And we had her at our first
I didn't even know
event.
that.
Yeah, and so like amazing that she would support that. And just again, you know.
And you always, one thing about G is she does not, like, she knows her worth. She knows what she can get. You know, like, she doesn't think just in the box. Like, she thinks way outside the fucking box. And, like, you inspire me to think bigger, you know? Like, you know, we're starting to plan some events out here. And, like, the other day, G was just like, guys, like, we can make this much money. Like, you know, don't stress about the money. Like, we're going to make mad money, like, doing this. Like, you know, we can have these big people part of our events. Like, we don't have to, like, just think small.
It's because of and again, thank you to Bodega, because being around that scene and then just seeing so many people that are clouded but are just like normal people, I was like, man, it was never like, oh, I wish I could do that. It was always like, I'm gonna do that. Like, I can fucking do that. What the hell? Like, I could do that better. Recently, I was there and I was in this relationship and shit hit the fan, and there was a moment where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I have no reason to be here anymore. Boston isn't even my hometown. Like, I love Boston so much, but it's not even my hometown. I don't have family near there. Like, and I was like, I'm really in Boston for a man right now. Like, I'm literally nannying and with a man. Like, that's my life, is like taking care of this man and taking care of our relationship and trying to save this shit. And he didn't deserve me even. So what the fuck was I doing? And so literally maybe January 31st or whatever, I booked a one-way ticket with my points on JetBlue, and I just booked it for 10 days later, and I packed my shit up and I dipped.
And I remember G hit me up, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to be in LA soon. And I thought she was just coming out for a trip or whatever.
Right.
Like, I didn't know she was, like, literally moving here until she got here. And she's like, yeah, I live here now. And I'm like, what? Like, fucking lit. Like,
all my friends have
got
been
up
saying,
and when.
like, I have been talking about this for so long that my friends, like, eventually it was like, now it became annoying to my friends and family. Like, they're like, bitch, just go then.
But that gives like, you that force of like, well, now I have
no excuse. I have no excuse. And the only excuse is myself. So I was holding myself back through all these things. And again, also like just being there in Boston, feeling like I needed to like build that community. But then it kind of became this like, there is small town shit and there's some hater vibes and there's some people, they don't give contacts and it's just like not the vibrations that I'm on, and very limited mindset. And I don't need to be like that. Like I was saying to Tori, like I'm a big fish and I don't want to be a big fish in a small sea. I want to be a big fish in a big ass ocean because I like to swim and I like to explore new places, and I don't care because I'm still going to be the shark that I am. Like people going to notice me. So it's like I'm still a great white shark, great mixed shark. And so like because of that, I just needed to get out here, and then since like it's up, like
literally
it's
G
just
has been doing so much, you know, like she's been in music videos, she's been meeting like different dancers, different producers, started like really making music and tapping into your Dominican side heavy too with your music, and really using it to express yourself, you know? Like, you literally express yourself through all these things that you're so passionate about, like, even your style, you know? Like, all these things are just a form of expression, and it's contagious. Like, your energy, being around people, I literally hear people say to you all the time, like, oh, I love your vibes, like, I love your energy, like, and it's literally, like contagious to people, and it's a good contagious, you know, like we need people like you in this world to inspire people and just, you know, fully just being yourself.
Talk about how you would describe your music, and then talk about last night, that first show.
Oh yeah. I would describe my music as I have no clue, but I would describe it
honestly, I feel like you're still experimenting and like kind of finding like what's best
my
for
music
you.
is
Like,
the divine
it's
feminine.
definitely.
I know what it is. I know what it has. I found my pocket. I
Yeah.
did because I was experimenting a lot before, but now
Yeah.
I know what it is. Like I was trying to do like a lot of like heavy hip hop. Like again, I grew up on like
Yeah.
NWA, so I'm rapping about fuck shit and like
Mhm.
whatever. But I actually want it to be. I want it to embody my ambiguity and like So I describe it as like the divine masculine feminine. Like I like it. It's energy. It's really energetic and it's really sexy and it's really taps
Definitely
you into your
sexy.
body. And because my thing is I want to heal through movement and dancing, so I want people to be able to dance to my shit and move. And then I like wanted to create this other like very powerful matriarchal world when you listen to it, and that's why I like the spacey sound and I like using these certain ad libs and the digital aspect, but it's raw music. Like I have a drive to make raw music with raw like instruments, and I don't just want to do some electronic shit, and I'm not just doing no trap shit. Like I'm here to make real music that lasts. Like I have so many inspirations, like from like Hector Lavoe, who's a salsa, Hector Lavoe and people like that. But then it's like I love Bad Bunny and I love J Balvin and I love what they're doing for this Latino gang. Like I want them to be like she's a part of Latino gang because it's so powerful having seen my culture that I was confused about for so long be now mainstream and people appreciate the culture. And so I want to be a part of that.
Definitely like super recent too.
Yeah.
Super
a lot
recent.
Of new waves are here.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest ones.
So that ambiguity with the American and switching the Spanish and the English and all of that, and it's like you might not understand everything I'm saying, but you're going to feel it.
Exactly.
And that's like how I would describe my music.
Exactly. A lot of people that listen to Bad Bunny don't know what he's saying.
No, it's just you can
But
feel
they're
it.
still feeling
his
it,
last
you
album
know?
was really good, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't studied Spanish since like grade school.
Yeah.
Tori, maybe you described the show last night from your perspective, and then you jump in and kind of like fill in some stuff.
So, yeah, like, we thought we were going to be a little late and everything. Like, G was just ready to go. And, like, we ended up having to wait a little bit for her to perform. And she was getting a little anxious. Not nervous because she's but she was antsy. I was like, G, you got this. Like, just chill. And, like, her energy was just, like, she had a great artist perform before her that just really fucking was so powerful.
I was so
got
thankful.
everybody going.
So thankful.
And yeah, I think it was like really dope that
brought the energy
she
levels
performs
up.
before you. But then like getting into G's set, G was dancing. First of all, she gets off the stage with the mic, like going outside, like everybody get in here, like come on, like really bringing everybody to like really pay attention, which is important because some people will get up there and be nervous, not really even introduce themselves, like maybe a like slight little introduction. But like when you're like more interactive and like making people pay attention, like that's fucking powerful.
Yeah, I made everyone do 3 deep breaths.
Yep, the 3 deep breaths at the beginning. I thought that was amazing. There was another artist that did that before. I can't think of who, but like, I just thought it was so cool that you did that because people don't remember to take deep breaths and like,
let's all get on the same
frequency
right
literally,
now.
like G needs that good energy in the room too, because her energy is just so powerful. Like everybody needs to like feel that. So like, you know, you started dancing when you were singing and like really like people were so like, I feel like people were like, who the fuck is this girl? Like, whoa, like dead ass. Like I would have thought you had like you were already like blown up at that point. Like all of your songs are just like so quality. Like you sounded amazing live too. And I don't even think, I mean, I told you like how amazing you did, but like you sounded really good, and that's hard, especially nowadays with like auto-tune and like, you know, how we change our voice in music. And you still like, you changed your voice as it was in the song. You know, like you were able to just do that.
That's
with
shout out
the
Kendrick
way-
Lamar, because I am so inspired
Yeah.
by having different characters.
Yeah, and like
You know?
you really like did that. Like you didn't forget like, you know, the tone of like how you edited that song, and like you were so on point with that, and just like the way you were making eye contact and like really like interacting. Like I think that's so important, and like for your first performance, like that was just, we would have thought like you performed many times the way you did that. And like obviously you did it at a younger
That's so
age,
nice.
but like, you know, like it was just a really amazing performance, and I'm so proud of you. And like this is just the beginning. Like
Yeah,
I was
it's
telling
just
her
the
last
beginning.
night, like get used to it, bitch. Like get used to this adrenaline rush, and like how amazing that felt, because you're gonna be doing this all the time. Like tour soon.
Hell yeah.
Tour.
Hell
We're going
yeah.
on fucking tour. I'm DJing for Bebe G.
Doublecup and Bebe
G.
G.
Official DJ.
Nice. Well, did you want to add to that at all in terms of what it felt like for you being
Yeah.
on stage? And
Yeah, I thought it was, I mean, first of all, it was amazing. It was a revolutionary night for me. No matter what anyone said, if they liked it or
Yeah.
not, like for me, that one was for me and my ancestors. It was so funny. It's like I had obsidian in my shoe the whole time, the obsidian rock, like for protection. And I just thought, I was like, I don't fucking care. Like I'm protected right
Yeah.
now. So I love, it almost feels like I know how to perform because I just shut everything out, and it literally felt like I was just
and you could
dancing in
see
my
that,
room.
G. Like, and that's what I was saying that to her too, actually, how you could tell, like, whatever anybody's energy in the room is, she's not gonna like be affected by it, because some people could like I remember one of the guys that performed yesterday, like at the end of his performance, he kind of just walked off,
He's
and
like,
like
"All
nobody
right."
really like knew like he even ended his shit, because he kind of just walked off in a weird vibe, because like people weren't vibing with him, and it's like you can't act like that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to even just be grateful for the opportunity, be grateful that you got to perform and like share your music, and like if it wasn't the opportunity for you, like whatever, just still be grateful and not so worried about what other people think.
Yeah,
and that's
1 or
something
1
about you.
million.
Do not care what other people think about you, and that's like such a strong quality to have as an artist, because a lot of artists that blow up don't have that quality, and they're so concerned and end up switching who they are, like switching things about them, and like not staying true to themselves because they're just worried about what other people have to say and trying to impress other people. And like you're not on that at all, and like that's a strong quality to have like before like blowing up. It's
the
like
sick of being broke brand, and like where things are headed, where you want to take things.
Yeah, so Sick of Being Broke, I started this year because I got super aggravated. So I lost all my gigs during COVID, and I got broke as fuck. And I've always been broken. I just never knew money. Clearly, I failed out of finance twice. Like, I didn't know how to manage my money. And then I realized that in this gig economy, like, I was working for other people and depending on them. And now I'm like, depending on the government when I had to sign up for unemployment, and all my friends too. And I was just like, the importance of financial literacy in the youth specifically, and in Black and brown communities and underdeveloped communities, like just because it's not there. And it's also overdeveloped because people don't know it from the suburbs either. Like it's like where they're teaching us, even people in finance, you're working for Merrill Lynch, you're still a sheep. Like you don't own your own hedge fund. And it's like, yeah, that's what you're working towards. And that's almost what I'm trying to inspire people is like, you can have these paths, but ultimately you want your own shit. You want ownership of something. You want to have control over your money. You want to not have to depend on anyone else. And specifically women, like, I don't think that we should have to dumb down or you know, limit ourselves financially to make other people comfortable, because that's a big thing too, is women having money and being rich and getting their own. Like men have been put in this position in our society, like they're the fucking providers or something. I don't need nobody to provide for me. Like I can provide for my own damn self, and that intimidates men, and that intimidates a lot of other women that are chasing men and not money and not their own bag. And so I don't even mean chase money, not men, as in like, don't date men, don't love men. It's like, it'll come. Being with a man is not your fucking
priority, like
and only
top
purpose
priority and purpose.
as a fucking person and as a woman. So I started sick of being broke by like literally I was just sick of being broke, yo. And I went on this wormhole of financial literacy and I started teaching myself self-taught. And then I started having these conversations with people and I came up with the slogan, chase money, not men. And then I was just like, that's so catchy. Like, and I feel like people will really relate to that. So ultimately I want it to be a bigger brand that's like lifestyle, that we have our hands in things. Like I had this idea just to like with the homeless out here and like develop programs for financial literacy or like that be a literal class that's part of the system. And it's like, I don't know if this is how it works, but I want to have so much money because I know that that's the tool to use as a tool where it's like, I would lobby other like certain government like politicians if that's what it fucking takes. Like I will lobby for shit like that are working, and I will work with the government to create a system like I think of it as like DARE. Like remember DARE about drugs and all of that? Like it wasn't
bringing it to awareness.
Exactly. Like it's in every school, every elementary, every middle school, every high school. It's like this sick of being the sob. Like I have this thing too. It's like everyone has a sob story, SOBB, and like everyone has a sob story. Everyone has a story where they're broke and down bad, and you know what I mean. And that's the goal is to get out of that.
Yeah.
And so I want, whether it's just awareness through the brand and through the apparel and whatever we come up with in the collaborations, like that they just wear it and they represent and they say like what it's about and spread the word, or it's like these things that ultimately I want to have the opportunity to bring to society is like these programs and education for people on this matter because it's fucking important and it's part of wellness, and the number one stress in America is money. Like that's literally a proven statistic. Fact, whatever you ask people, they're always stressed about money, and we need to shift the mindset. They don't want us to know it. This is shit they won't teach us in school. They don't want us to teach us that in school because we then become our own like beings, and we're our own individuals, and we don't need the government. We don't need big corporations at that point because we have our own little small community in society, and we got our own, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't need much besides that. You just have to be literate and build the wealth. Not get rich and do what society does, and that's what the capitalist thing does. Is it's consumerism, and the idea of being rich is buying a bunch of shit when you get money. It's like, oh my god, or you could invest it in something that will make you so much bigger. And that's why even my money, like shifting my mindset with money, that like I don't need to get a 9 to 5. I don't need to be working these jobs anymore. I don't need to be a dance teacher. Like I'm just over the pandemic coming up with all these fucking business ideas. Like maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do therapy, maybe I'll do healing through movement, and let's like, or I could just do what I'm supposed to, bank on myself, invest in myself, and come up that way, and then actually have the money to have the tools to pay for it for society. And I have an idea like to give all my homies, all my friends, like I want to give them a salary every year. Like I want to give everybody $100K every year. And, my loved ones, my siblings, whoever, and so they can buy back their time. Yeah. Like, that's what it's about. Wealth is about buying back your time to be able to actually live your purpose and truth. So that's what my goal as sick of being broke is, whether it's just to represent it or to bring these, like, programs into this world and to create a new system, like, of just young, powerful individual entrepreneurs that are collaborative and making the world a better place and the collective better by being their own self and owning it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, I think also the segue, what are you excited for in that kind of like near-term future and for just like even this summer? What are you excited for in that kind of short term?
I love summer. This is going to be my first summer in LA and it's just amazing. So the fact that I like the beach, the nature, and the inspiration 100%. But for me, I'm dropping my first album. Oh my god. Well, yeah, I'll do that next year. But I'm dropping my first single on June 9th. My birthday's June 9th, and I'm gonna drop my first single. I'm shooting a music video next month for it, and I hope it's gonna be dope. Yeah. And so
it's gonna be dope.
I'm dropping that, and then I have this guy, my friend, I now have a manager, and they're helping me, and it's just I can see it, the vision, so much more. And then after that, I have this song, like I read that Sierra one time, that My Goodies, she had like she felt like it was like she had this song in a briefcase and she was ready, like she knew it was the one.
She's gonna dish it out.
My Goodies,
right.
and,
Really?
and then she got
With
Lil
Snoop
Jon
Dogg.
on it, or was it?
I think it one of those.
One of those. It was whoever it was on that track. I'm pretty sure Lil Jon.
I think it was Lil Jon.
And she got it, and she talks about how she just knew that song was it for her, the way that if she got it in the right hands. And that's how I feel about my first and my second songs. Just by I am confident that I would blow up in Latin America probably first, which would be lit. But either way, I don't care. It's like not about blowing up, but it is about like getting it out there.
Yeah.
It is about blowing up, actually.
It is.
Because it's I want to be able to make that impact. It's not about me. It is like really about the impact in the collective. And so because of that, my goals are really just to drop those 2 songs, get it out. I want numbers, like run it up. I want to just run that shit up all summer. And then I'm going to work on whatever comes next. And like, hopefully, like genuinely, I want a Bad Bunny feature. I want somebody to hop on it. Like I want Universal or somebody Latin group, Sony Latin, whatever, that they hear it and it gets into the right hands. I know people in the industry. I have family in the industry. I know what's good and what's not, and I'm confident that this summer is gonna be fucking crazy because I'm actually gonna put it out there, and I want to just start that journey. Like I really want to be a big ass artist. I want to be a major artist.
The optimism for the future is on high, and we're going for it.
Exactly.
Any last shout outs? Anybody?
My family.
Aww.
My family.
Yes,
That's
send
it.
this to all of them.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna shout out. I just shout out my family, my mom, and my dad, and my siblings, and my grandparents, and everybody, my aunts and uncles, and just the bloodline, and everybody who has ever brought me to this point. The people that were fucking haters and disrespected the fuck out of me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You made me realize my worth. But yeah, that's it,
well,
basically.
Thank you so much for being on here, Bebe G, and sharing
Bebe G.
everything that you shared. You know, like, you got deep into a lot of things, and I think it's going to really inspire and motivate people for real. And that's why we do this show, you know? Like, we want to, like, inspire and, like, exchange these frequencies that we have and, like, just have everybody, like, feel that shit and believe in themselves and...
Life is
I'm
energy.
gonna get emotional over here, but this is beautiful for real.
Yeah, life is energy, and it's so crazy. That's like we were talking about acid earlier. Like when you can see the vibrations and things, everything is a vibration.
Yeah.
Like the TV, all these things are vibrating right now, and that are living. The things that are living, that's all vibrating. It's all light. These beams, like there's so much. There's waves going on around us at all times. And so I just go by energy. It's so fucking corny, and I hate that they've mainstreamed it and made it like some clout thing, but like it is true.
No,
so don't fall into like, oh, fake woke, like whatever. Like these are ancient teachings that are valid and like the high vibrations. Like I just be saying it. It sounds funny, and I always be laughing about it, like, cause I'm like high vibes, bro.
Yeah.
But it is so true, and it's like.
Yeah.
It resonates and like you said, contagiousness. Like I like that word. Someone just sent that to me, and they're like, your energy is contagious, and I love that because other people's energy is so contagious that I've been surrounding myself with that it gives me the energy to do that. But it's like it's a slippery slope when you're around people that don't. We all need to just heal our inner child, and that's something I do want to say. Last thing is like my music, now that you're saying, like, describing certain things about my music, like, this is healing my inner child. These are things that I was telling them before, like, my family would say, you know, dance isn't going to get you anywhere, like, you can't, it's not going to make money, whatever, and these are things that I was told as a kid about the things that I loved and was obsessed with, and my sexuality, you're a fucking slut, like, you know, all the little things, like, all of these things that are healing, I'm healing my inner child. I'm going to be the sexiest, most unavailable bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. You can look, but you cannot touch because this is my temple and it's my rules. And I am, because, yeah, you know, that was taken from me as a child too. People touching me in places that I said, like, what the fuck? I shouldn't have went through that, but I did. And now I have to heal it, but I want to heal it through this. Like, I love cotton candy. I always say, like, I want to collab with Nickelodeon and Gushers. That's my top 2 right now. That's my top of my list right now. So I heal that inner child. Like, go back to those things that you loved as a kid. And you can, I think that's where we all find our purpose. Is like, we're all strayed from that. We all stray away from that based on society and what we're supposed to be told we're supposed to be doing. But in the beginning, in the end, we all know what we were here for. Our souls know, and it's not nurtured from day one. So also, if you have some kids, like, nurture that shit. Stop trying to, they are not your possession.
Not away from
they are not your possession. You brought them into this world to be their own being, and you don't possess them. They're not yours. They belong to the universe. And so nurturing that, even if it's not something that scares you and is not, what you're used to, I think that's also a part of what I want with Sick of Being Broke and, like, teaching kids is like, we need to start nurturing the things that kids are doing at a young age and stop being like said, like, oh, my family, we're big baseball family. Every single person has played baseball in our family. And then there's that kid that just wants to, like, dance. And they're like, no, you're going to play baseball. And it's like, what? Why? And then that whole time, that kid has a lost, empty space. Yeah. And you just hope that, I just want to be a person that brings people back to that and inspires people, like, hey, if you went through that, fuck it. Do it. Do it now. It's never too late. And it's never too late to just be yourself.
Never.
Yeah. And I think that's the theme here is the answers you're looking for are in yourself, and you can just face your problems and beat it. But I think that's a beautiful place to end it.
Yes.
Bebe G, thank you for coming on. FREQ
so
podcast.
FREQ, shout out.
We went super deep, and we're signing off. New episode next week.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you, Gigi.
Appreciate it.
Beso.